Here's a question that should terrify every single person watching this right now. What if I told you that the news you read this morning was written specifically for you and nobody else saw the same version? Not your wife, not your neighbor, not your best friend at the office. I'm not talking about different opinions on the same story. I'm talking about completely different facts, different quotes, different numbers, different conclusions, generated by artificial intelligence in real time based on everything it already knows about you. And here's what makes this even more disturbing. The technology to do this isn't coming in some distant future. It's already here, and leaked documents from a Chinese intelligence operation prove it's already being used against American citizens. Stick with me on this one, because by the end of this episode, I'm going to show you exactly how this system works, who's behind it, and what happened when researchers at Vanderbilt University cracked it wide open. If this is your first time here, we drop a new episode every other day, and trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. Subscribe, hit the bell, and let me know in the comments where you're watching from, because this affects every single one of us, no matter what state you live in. Okay, so let me break this down in a way that actually makes sense. You already know that Google and Facebook track what you click on. That's old news, they've been doing that for over a decade. But here's what changed, and it changed fast. The old system just filtered existing content. It showed you articles that already existed based on what you'd clicked before. Think of it like a librarian who noticed you liked mystery novels and stopped showing you the romance section. Annoying maybe, but at least the books were real. What we're dealing with now is fundamentally different. Generative AI doesn't just filter what you see, it creates new content from scratch, tailored specifically to your psychological profile. It knows your political leaning, your emotional triggers, your fears, and it generates text, images, even video designed to push those exact buttons. The World Economic Forum ranked AI-driven disinformation as the single largest short-term threat to civil society in both 2024 and 2025. And that wasn't some fringe group making noise. That was the global establishment sounding the alarm. The number of known deepfake videos online has exploded by 550% since 2019, according to Security.org and Markets Research. Roughly 500,000 deepfake videos were shared on social media in 2023 alone, and projections show up to 8 million by 2025. But the numbers only tell part of the story. What's truly different now is the personalization, the fact that AI doesn't just create one fake video for everyone. It creates a version of reality built specifically for you, based on everything your phone already knows about your life. Back in 2011, an internet activist named Eli Pariser coined the term filter bubble. The idea that algorithms trap you in a personalized information cocoon. At the time, people thought he was exaggerating. The algorithms were basic, the data was limited, and most people still got their news from TV or newspapers. Fast forward to today, and the average person spends nearly 2.5 hours a day on social media. That's according to data from early 2025, 147 minutes every single day scrolling through feeds that are engineered to keep you hooked. And with 5.3 billion social media accounts active worldwide, representing nearly 65% of the global population, the attack surface for personalized disinformation is absolutely massive. Here's the simplest way to think about it. The old propaganda worked like a billboard. One message for everybody who drove past. The new propaganda works like a whisper in your ear, customized to exploit the exact thing you're already worried about. So why is this happening right now? Let me give you two explanations, and I want you to think about which one worries you more. Hypothesis A is the obvious one, the business model. Social media platforms make money from engagement, and nothing drives engagement like outrage and fear. Their algorithms have learned that showing you content that confirms your existing beliefs keeps you scrolling longer than content that challenges them. MIT research from back in 2018 showed that false stories spread 6 times faster than true ones on social media because they trigger stronger emotional reactions. So the platforms have every financial incentive to feed you a personalized version of reality, because that's what keeps the ad dollars flowing. That's hypothesis A, greed, plain and simple. But here's hypothesis B, and this is the one that keeps national security experts up at night. What if foreign governments figured out how to hijack that same system and use it as a weapon of war? Not with tanks, not with missiles, but with tailored lies, designed to tear Americans apart from the inside. And that's not hypothetical anymore. In August of 2025, researchers at Vanderbilt University's Institute for National Security published what they found in a cache of leaked documents from a Beijing-based company called Golaxy. 399 pages of internal files, written in Mandarin, detailing what they called a smart propaganda system. Brett Goldstein, a former director of the Defense Digital Service at the Pentagon, received the files from a security researcher. He stayed up all night feeding chunks of the Mandarin text into a large language model to translate them, and what he found shook him to his core. Golaxy had built an army of AI personas, fake people, engineered to look like real Americans, think like real Americans, and win the trust of real Americans. These weren't the clumsy Russian troll farms we heard about in 2016. This was something surgical, intimate, and already operational. The system scraped millions of data points from social media platforms, built psychological profiles of individual targets, and used China's version of ChatGPT, a model called DeepSeek, to generate content that felt authentic and adapted in real time. The leaked files contained dossiers on 2,000 American public figures, thousands of right-wing influencers, and at least 117 sitting members of Congress. As Goldstein told reporters at DEFCON in Las Vegas, this represents a whole new level of gray zone conflict. Former NSA Director General Paul Nakasone, who now heads Vanderbilt's National Security Institute, said they were seeing the ability to develop and deliver disinformation at a speed and scale they had never witnessed before. And here's the part that should really make you think. If Golaxy could build psychological profiles on members of Congress, what could they do with ordinary citizens like you and me? Now, to understand how we got here, you need to know about something that happened back in January of 2024. It's one of those moments that seemed small at the time, but turned out to be a canary in the coal mine. 2 days before the New Hampshire presidential primary, voters across the state started getting phone calls. And on the other end of the line was the voice of President Joe Biden telling them not to vote. His exact words, and I say exact because people recorded these calls, told voters to save their vote for the November election, that voting in the primary would only help Republicans elect Donald Trump again. It sounded exactly like Biden. The cadence, the tone, the familiar pauses, all of it. But it wasn't Biden. It was a deepfake, an AI-generated clone of the president's voice, created by a political consultant named Steve Kramer. As reported by NBC News, Kramer admitted to commissioning the fake audio using widely available AI voice cloning software. He hired a performer named Paul Carpenter to generate the clip, then routed it through telecom companies to reach over 5,000 voters. The FCC proposed a $6 million fine against Kramer for illegal spoofing. He was indicted in New Hampshire on felony voter suppression charges and misdemeanor impersonation of a candidate. The League of Women Voters sued him, and the Department of Justice backed that lawsuit as a potential violation of the Voting Rights Act. That was one consultant, one AI tool, one state, one election. Now multiply that by the resources of a nation-state with billions to spend on information warfare. That's the difference between 2024 and right now. And remember, the tools that Kramer used to clone Biden's voice are available to anyone. Free apps, online services, most of them requiring nothing more than a few seconds of sample audio. NBC News reported that programs capable of creating moderately convincing voice replicas are widely available as phone apps, usually for free or only a small fee. Imagine what a well-funded state operation can do with access to military-grade AI models and billions of data points about American citizens. But that's not even the scariest part of this story. And honestly, before I get into what comes next, drop a comment below and tell me, have you ever seen two completely different versions of the same news story and wondered which one was real? Because what I'm about to tell you changes everything about how you should think about the information on your phone. Here's the thing most people don't understand about AI-generated disinformation. The danger isn't just one fake video going viral. The real threat is much quieter than that, and that's what makes it so effective. Let me lay out 3 scenarios for how this plays out in your life. Scenario 1, the personalized news feed. You and your neighbor both search for the same event, say a factory closing in your town. Your AI curated feed shows you an article blaming corporate greed and outsourcing. Your neighbor's feed shows an article blaming government regulation and taxes. Both articles look professional, cite what appear to be real sources, and were generated by AI in seconds based on your respective browsing histories. You walk away with fundamentally different understandings of the same event, and neither of you realizes it. Scenario 2, the targeted deepfake. During Ireland's 2025 presidential election, a deepfake video falsely showed the eventual winner withdrawing from the race. It even included fake footage of national broadcasters confirming the withdrawal, and it was released just days before voters went to the polls. In the Netherlands, roughly 400 AI-generated synthetic images were used to attack political candidates. This isn't science fiction. This happened in democratic countries with free press and election oversight. Scenario 3, the AI influencer you'll never detect. In January of 2025, a leaked intelligence report revealed that adversarial governments were using AI-generated influencers on TikTok to spread carefully crafted propaganda to young Americans. These weren't crude cartoons or obvious fakes. They were stylish, relatable, and algorithmically favored by the platform's recommendation engine. Some had millions of followers before anyone figured out they weren't real people. The EU Disinfolab confirmed similar operations targeting teens across Europe. And here's where those Galaxy documents become truly frightening. Their system didn't just create content, it used something called LLM grooming, which means flooding search results with biased data so that when a target searches for any topic, the top results confirm whatever narrative Galaxy wants them to believe. It's not just controlling what you see on social media anymore, it's controlling what you find when you actively go looking for the truth. Deloitte has predicted that generative AI could drive fraud losses in the United States from $12.3 billion in 2023 to $40 billion by 2027. That's not just scams and stolen money, that includes the economic damage of people making decisions based on information that was manufactured to manipulate them. Alright, so I've laid out the problem, and it's a big one, but I'm not going to leave you sitting here feeling helpless, because that's exactly what the people behind these systems want. They want you overwhelmed, confused, and too exhausted to fight back. Here's the good news. People are fighting back, and some of them are winning. The European Union passed the AI Act, which requires labeling of AI-generated and deepfake content, with fines of up to 6% of a company's global revenue for violations. That goes into enforcement in August of 2026. In the United States, the FCC made AI-generated voices and robocalls illegal in February of 2024, and the enforcement against Steve Kramer sent a clear message that this won't be tolerated. Finland has become a global model. They teach grade school children how to spot when they're being targeted by manipulative information. Not college students, grade schoolers. If a 12-year-old in Helsinki can learn to question what they see online, so can every single person watching this right now. Here's what you can do starting today. First, treat everything you see with healthy skepticism, especially content that triggers a strong emotional reaction. If something makes you furious or terrified within 5 seconds of seeing it, that's exactly the response it was designed to produce. Take a breath before you share. Second, cross-check information across multiple sources. Don't just read one article about a story that matters. Read 3 from different outlets and look for where they agree and disagree. If you can't find the same claim in at least 2 independent sources, treat it as unverified until you can. Third, be extremely cautious with video and audio content. Deepfakes have crossed a critical threshold in quality, and the old tells, weird, blinking, glitchy edges are disappearing fast. If you see a video of someone saying something outrageous, look for the original source before you react. Fourth, talk to your family about this, especially the younger generation. Your kids and grandkids are swimming in AI-generated content every single day. They need to know that not everything with a professional look and a confident voice is real. And fifth, support organizations that are working on this problem. NewsGuard tracks AI disinformation campaigns globally. The Coalition for Content Provenance and Authenticity is building technology to verify whether media is real or synthetic. These tools exist, most people just don't know about them yet. The myth that used to protect us was simple: seeing is believing. That rule worked for most of human history, but AI has broken that contract and we haven't built a replacement yet. The question isn't whether we can fix this, it's whether we'll move fast enough. Remember those Galaxy documents I told you about at the beginning? The researcher who found them, Brett Goldstein, said something at DEF CON that I haven't been able to get out of my head. He said, if we can't figure out how to tell humans apart from machines online, we are in a lot of trouble. And he's right, because the old world, the one where you could trust a phone call from someone who sounded like your grandson, or trust a news article because it looked like it came from a real outlet, or trust a video because you could see it with your own eyes, that world is gone. The game has changed, and most Americans haven't even realized the rules are different. We grew up in a country where information was imperfect but fundamentally shared. Democrats and Republicans could disagree about what to do, but they were arguing about the same set of facts. What AI-powered disinformation threatens is something far more dangerous than disagreement. It threatens the very idea that there's a shared reality at all, but here's what hasn't changed. You're still smart enough to question what you see. You're still stubborn enough to demand the truth. And you're still connected enough to warn the people you care about. So here's what I want to know from you. Has something like this ever happened to you or someone in your family? Have you ever caught a fake video, a scam call, or a piece of news that turned out to be AI generated? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one, and your stories help everyone watching this. And think about one person in your life who needs to hear this. Your mother, your brother, your neighbor, your friend who keeps saying AI won't affect me. Send them this video right now. Seriously, it could save them from making a mistake that costs them more than just money. If this is your first time here, we drop new episodes every other day, and honestly, it only gets crazier from here. Subscribe, hit that bell, and I'll see you in the next one.